सोनाली,
जी सर।
ask madam to join.
श्योर सर, आई लास्ट कर।
सोनाली, हेलो।
हेलो सर।
संकेत,
हाँ सर।
मैडम ज्वाइन कर ली।
हाँ सर, मैडम ने ज्वाइन किया है।
सोनाली किधर है?
सर, करता हूँ सर कॉल।
हाँ, कॉल करो, ज्वाइन करे और फिर सर को कॉल करता हूँ, बताओ मुझे।
हाँ सर।
हाँ।
हेलो मैम, ज्वाइन करो ना।
हाँ संकेत, क्या हुआ? कुलकर्णी सर, हेलो।
हेलो सर, मैडम इज ज्वाइनिंग।
अच्छा अच्छा, वेलकम मैडम।
हेलो हेलो।
हाँ,
यस सर, मैडम इज ज्वाइनिंग सर।
कुलकर्णी सर, क्या संकेत बोलो, प्रिंसिपल
हाँ सर, बोल दीजिए सर।
स्टार्ट करेंगे।
हाँ सर, मैडम ज्वाइन हो रही है।
झालं पण ते आता कसं ते विरोध करते ना एकमेकांना. त्या दिवशी ते झालं तर अध्यक्षाचं ते चालू पडलं मेसेज टाकून दिला व्हॉट्सअप यांना एकदम घाई आहे बा
अरे
किंवा
संकेत,
हाँ सर।
ये वीडियो जिसके चालू है, बंद कर सकते हो क्या?
हाँ हाँ सर, देखता हूँ।
या वीडियो
यस,
बंद करो।
all of you turn off your video and audio please. Yes, everyone will turn off their video and audio.
सोनाली आ गई है कि नहीं?
Sir, she is trying to join, but there is some network issue in her end, at her end.
मैडम है कि गई?
Sir, ma'am is here.
अच्छा, तो कैन यू स्टार्ट?
Can I
कैन यू
start, sir?
कैन यू गिव द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ दैट मैडम?
Yes sir, no problem.
Okay, so you start. I am calling to principal to join.
Okay sir, okay sir.
Wait a minute.
पट्टीदार काय केलं नाही केलं खूप विषय संपला.
संकेत सर,
हाँ सर।
कार्यकर सर बोलतोय.
हाँ सर, बोला ना.
अरे ते लॉग इन नाही होणार माझं, ते माझ्या याची मेलवरून त्याच्यावरून
सर
केलेलं आहे.
सर, हो चालेल चालेल सर.
संकेत,
हाँ सर.
तो आ रहे प्रिंसिपल सर, देखना ज्वाइन कराना.
हाँ सर, हाँ सर।
और इंट्रोड्यूस करके सर को रिक्वेस्ट करना है बोलने के लिए।
यस सर, हाँ सर।
हाँ हाँ ठीक है, चलो।
हेलो सोनाली मैम।
I'm here. I could join. Ma'am
Okay,
is.
ma'am, you can start. Principal sir has joined.
I just wanted to confirm, is Rubina ma'am here or not?
Yes, ma'am. Rubina ma'am is also here.
Okay, okay, okay. Just a second. I'll be starting in a moment. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I would like to welcome all the dignitaries on behalf of Department of Civil Engineering. Also, I would like to welcome Dr. Z.J. Khan, Principal, Rajiv Gandhi College, uh, Dr. A.P. Singh, HOD, Civil Department, and all the staff members. Also, I would like to extend my welcome to Dr. Rubina Khan, who's a GIS expert from DAFI Survey Academy and Associates. To introduce our guest speaker, she has done her PhD from hydrology with remote sensing and GIS, and she's also done an MSc in geology from Government MVM College, Bhopal. And she has been into lot of researches, and she has taken lot of projects under. She has undertaken a lot of projects under her, and attended a lot of workshops and been awarded with Fellowship of Training Young Scientists for 6 months in 32nd MP Young Scientist Congress GIS training. So welcome, ma'am. I welcome you for this seminar. Um, to continue with the seminar, I would request Dr. Z.J. Khan, Principal RTRT, to please inaugurate the session by your valuable words.
Thank you, Sonali ma'am.
I would request Principal Sir to please inaugurate the session with your valuable words.
Sonali, once again you request.
Sir, Principal Sir, I would request you to please inaugurate the session with your valuable words. Sir, I would just check on what's happening. I'll just see to it.
Your mic is mute, sir. Your mic is mute. Sanket,
Yes, sir.
can you open it?
I will check, sir. Yes, sir. Sir has opened the mic.
Hello, Sonali. Once
Yes,
again, you.
sir, I would, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to invite our principal, Dr. Z.J. Khan, sir, to please share his valuable words on this auspicious occasion.
Thank you, madam. It's my proud privilege to welcome the guest speaker of the day, Dr. Rubina, for this very important topic that is as far as the civil engineering is concerned. Uh, well, Dr. Rubina, let me introduce this college to first of all to you. This college has been established way back in 1983. And at that time, you know, the unconventional branch called structural engineering was there, which later on was converted into this conventional civil engineering branch, and now we have got a full-fledged branch with 60 intake. And let me tell you that this is one of the, you know, the branches at our college which has got one of the finest and very senior faculty members who are the pass out of some of the premier institutions of the country. And we have been always proud of our faculty members in civil engineering, and also the students, in fact, who are serving in various cadres across the globe. I'm really thankful to you for joining us and accepting our invitation to deliver this seminar on this very important topic. Well, as far as GIS and remote sensing are concerned, I believe that they have become almost indispensable as far as their applications in the areas of civil engineering are concerned. Just to name few, I feel that, for example, if we go for the infrastructure management or even what we call the critical infrastructure project or site analysis or cost management, or even, you know, the town planning or the urban development, or even the water resource management, water resource engineering, I believe that nothing is being untouched today as far as this GIS and remote sensing are concerned. Well, the students, you must understand that what you are studying is engineering, but let me tell you that the engineering also has become indispensable as far as the technology development is concerned. Engineering and technology, they are not indispensable. You try to understand, you have to learn the new technologies in the areas of civil engineering. Only then you will become a competent and full-fledged civil engineering to compete in this, you know, the cutthroat competition across the world. That is what you must understand. And perhaps the topic that is going to be taken up today by Dr. Rubina is something which is going to provide you the, you know, the edge as far as the development of technology in civil engineering is concerned. And therefore, I would like to compliment the efforts of the head of the department, Dr. A.P. Singh, and all his teammates in the Department of Civil Engineering, who must have taken a lot of pains to bring Dr. Rubina for this webinar with all of you. I hope that you are not only just going to enjoy this session, but also you are going to learn a lot from Dr. Rubina. Once again, thank you, Dr. Rubina, for being with us, with my children, and I hope that they are going to learn a lot from you. I hand it over back to the Madam of Civil Engineering. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind words and warm welcome. And you have given a very brief and very up to the mark, I can say, the brief introduction of GIS. This is the era of GIS. This is an emerging field of GIS in India. So, by your presence, shall I start my
Handing over the session to Rubina ma'am. I would really thank you for accepting our request to come here and take the seminar. And before starting, I would say that we worked together for a longer time, and we have been very good friends since long years. So when this session came, she immediately accepted my request to take this seminar. So I would really thank you, and ma'am, without taking much time, please proceed with the seminar. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm starting my presentation, please. Application of remote sensing and GIS in civil engineering. Am I audible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, pretty much. I think you have to be little loud, little loud.
Okay. So we'll start with the application of remote sensing and GIS in civil engineering. First of all, why we are having this session? So we are having this session because GIS software market size has been valued about 821 crore in 2018 and it has projected to reach 2,912 crore by 2026. So by functions, you can say mapping in 2018 it was increasing, but you can say we are using extensively in navigation, also in telematics, also location based services, also surveying. We are also using GIS and others. It comes in the utilities and smart city projects like urban planning and all that. By end user, its use is increasing tremendously because we are using GIS in defense, agriculture, oil and gas, construction, utilities, transportation and telematics, navigation services, and various other things. So you can see in 2018 it was the scenario was this, and it could increase up to this much. And because there is increased demand of spatial data. Spatial data means remote sensing data. What we are looking for in spatial data, we have satellite images. For that, we need to understand this has got a big market and a big you can say this is the call of the edge in civil engineering to be a GIS expert. So first of all, what is geospatial technology? You might have heard about geoinformatics, remote sensing, GIS, and GPS. This together we known as geospatial technology. And remote sensing, we sense the object which is not being in touch with us. So we get the information about the object which is not being in the touch. So that is remote sensing. GIS is a software based geographical information system in which we have everything. It has got his location. GPS, global positioning system. This we would study in a brief in this session. Why remote sensing? A picture worth 1,000 words. See, every area is not accessible for us, but with the help of satellite data, we can access the most inaccessible region on the earth. This is why we use remote sensing. For that, we need a sun's energy, or active source, that is radar. Might have heard lidar. You might have heard. For that, we need an energy source, and these energy source interact with the atmosphere and object on the Earth's surface and reflects back that energy to the satellite. And the satellite has got a sensor over it. That sensor capture these reflections, and convert into these into a digital signals and send it back to the ground station, and there they convert it into a image form. So basically these are the reflections. Every object has got a reflection, whether it is living or non-living. See, water body has got a different kind of reflection, will give trees will give different kind of reflections, urban area will give different kind of reflections. So this is what in short you can say remote sensing. Our eyes are the best example of remote sensing. Now advantages of remote at your have as repeatability, cost effective also, because you go into the field and you everything with the help of repeatability is always you can say this is very much helpful in various kind of surveys like urban land use land cover planning. This feature, this we will discuss later. This will much in use. Now what is GIS? Geographical Information System. GIS का full form होता है. Then this has a combination of software, hardware, tools to store, analyze, manipulate, and display geographically referenced data. So what do you understand by this geographically reference? It means whatever we are putting in GIS, it has got its location. Nothing, even if if you are making a point on GIS software, that point has also got X and Y, and sometimes it has got the value of Z. Z means the altitude of that point. XY means latitude and longitude. We are using extensively GIS, but we don't know. We are all using Google Maps. See, your location to Mumbai, my location to Mumbai. I have marked this line. Yeah. Your destination on Google Maps, you there are a number of routes available to take, and this route will give you 14 hours. Put it on Google Maps portal, web portals, and this is how they are working. The background process is a whole lot of GIS. So this is the most basic example. Google Maps, you can say, if anybody asks what is the basic example which you are using GIS, is Google Maps. Again, Uber, Ola services, all these Zomato, Swiggy, they all are using this GIS service. GPS is what? If you know about assistant GPS and a true GPS difference between, you can understand. These companies are using a GPS, means assistant GPS. They are not using true GPS. That's why when you call Swiggy or Zomato food, they always comes and call you and where is your house, and they don't know the exact position because they are not using the true GPS, because by default they are using a GPS, and this is based on tower. Mobile towers के हिसाब से they are finding your location, not with the actual GPS. Now, what are the components of GIS? First of all, for GIS, you need to have a hardware, software, data, method, and people. Hardware, it's like ऐसा नहीं है कि you cannot use any of the mobile and any of the lower configuration laptop. You need to have a configuration, higher configuration for using this GIS software. And for this GIS software, there are n numbers of GIS software. Some are freely available and some are licensed. Licensed one are very costly, like somewhat like ArcGIS is the most commonly used software, and for one end user it has full-fledged version which cost about 18 lakhs. And this we would discuss in the last, what we can do with these software. Data, obviously we need to have a certain kind of data. That data has to have a location, that means the x, y, and sometimes we need a z value also. Methods, certain methods are applied for this, and obviously some skilled people are required. It is not like a layman can do this GIS performance. You can't do that. We need to have a skilled person for that. Life before and after GIS. See how these mapping has done before the GIS came into the era. Is you can see this picture speaks a lot. You can see how they are mapping an area. Now what we are doing, we are sitting on our computer and watching what you can mark anything, any water body, any you can mark a stadium, and finally you can make this kind of maps you can generate with the help of GIS on your desktop only. So what can I do with the GIS software? Viewing, creation, editing, conflation, transformation. From coordinates, query analysis I can do analysis, new information, I can create maps. Most of important is creating maps, because whatever data we are having in terms of you can say in terms of Excel form, in text form, it is not readable for each and everybody. It has to be in such form that it could be used by anybody who is not aware of the GIS, but he can find out what is happening in the area. So for that, mapping is very much required. Now, what is global positioning system? You might have heard GPS we are using. You might have used GPS in your department also. So it has got 3 segments: space segment, ground segment, and user segment. But what we have to know about this is it is a one-way signal. Means you can only receive signals by the user segment only, is what they are using only the they can receive signals. They cannot send any signals back to the space. So space segment, we have 24 satellites which are being used for our which we are using for navigation. Ground segment for correction and controlling these space satellites. This ground segment has been developed, and for user segment we have a handheld DGPS or GPS and a DGPS. See, this is how these 24 satellites are put in this kind, 6 orbits around the globe. Each orbit has got 4 satellites in which we are getting signals. See, number of satellites required. When we open a GPS, we need to have 4 satellites for a unique solution. On a display unit, you can see how many you are getting signals from how many satellites. So you must have 4 satellites on your display. Then only you mark your position on a GPS. This is how GPS space segment is working. If you find this red point on a globe, this is visible with the satellites as the Earth is rotating, but it is visible by certain satellites, not exactly by the 24 satellites is watching each and every object and each and every target every time. It's like sometimes it is visible by 7, sometimes it is visible by 8, sometimes 4, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. It's like that. So you need to have at least 4 satellites on your display unit on a GPS. And this is how this is working, and this orbits has been designed. Now, application of remote sensing and GIS in civil engineering. Surveying, this is the most, you can say, most extensively we are using in survey. Transportation, pipe water supply network, water resources management, watershed analysis, environmental impact assessment, remote sensing, urban development, risk management, landfill site selection, mineral mapping. You can go for pollution monitoring and natural hazard assessment, resource management, and smart cities also. And this we would see one by one. In surveying section, this is a handheld GPS and this is a DGPS. So this what we are doing, we are marking our location on a GPS, or we are getting our location from this. And what we do, this is the actual survey by our academy. We used to have uh, this kind of trainings in our department also. Now if anybody is aware of this image, Survey of India, and Survey of India has published 50,000 scale. They have published topo sheet all over the India, and it has you can say it is a base map, or you can say it is a Google map in terms of uh, in the form of paper. See, long back they have designed and they have mapped the whole area, and these dark brown lines are contour. What we are doing in the what we do actually in the survey, we mark our location along with the height, altitude, and what uska fir ultimately use what we use for it to make a topography of that particular area. So यहाँ पे what you have to do, you have to mark these contours over a map in a GIS software, and this would give you this kind of results. You're marking a contour, digitize a scan topography map. Then we can make a DEM. DEM is a digital elevation model. It is a raster format. See, in GIS we have two kinds of formats. That is vector format and a raster format. Raster, whatever we are using in the form of pixel, means scanned images, scanned pictures, topo sheets, maps. This is all a raster data, and what we are creating by digitizing in somewhat like drawing, like in AutoCAD, it is vector data. By this you can form this tin, and DEM 3D surface visualization. See, what we had a topo sheet. We marked the contours from that. We have developed a DEM from out of it. DEM this image has got elevation points at every point. See, we have elevation on this contour intervals, but we don't have elevation on this area. But in the DEM, automatically it creates elevation points of each and every point, whether there is contour or not. So you can see DEM 3D surface visualization of that particular area. By DEM, you can generate automatic drainage extraction also can also be done. See, in watershed analysis, you might have heard might be useful for final year students who are doing some projects. Watershed management, you might have heard this term, each and every time we can go for that. But what actually is happening, we are taking some basin and we are marking watersheds. So we are, with the help of GIS, we do not need to go into the field to mark the whole watershed. You just need a DEM of that area and you can mark automatically. You can get the watershed. Now you can do your artificial recharging you can do, you can rainwater harvesting you can do in watershed. Now water resources management. Our India is depending upon agriculture. 80 to 85% we are using water for agriculture or irrigation purpose, but we are not efficiently, it is we are not using it. So that's why we are the term has coined water resource management. For domestic it is very less, 5 to 10 7% we are using water for domestic purpose, but for wholesome we are using for irrigation, but we are not efficiently using it. So what for that we need to manage our water. Problem, what is the problem in our country regarding water? Because we have a very diurnal changes are there. Some in some areas we are having in 70 to 90% of rain, and some of the area is drought. So seasonal variation is very diurnal, so we have to look for the water resource management. In terms of remote sensing and GIS, we have passed up to we have potential means to locate the potential zones in our area with the help of remote sensing and GIS. Started this process in 1980s. Now we are moved towards water resource assessment and water budgeting. We are doing the water budget. This has and we have used 72-meter resolution. Now we are using 0.8-meter resolution. There are certain satellites which are which are giving data only for water level in our surface water bodies in our country. So these Saral Altica, if you want, you can write the name Saral. This is SARAL. Saral Altica is a water level data. Some students might would done some projects on this reservoir analysis and all that. So this would be helpful for you. What are the input from space for water resource studies? Cloud cover temperature, outgoing long wave radiation, rainfall. Wind vector, you can have a land surface temperature, soil moisture. It is one of the most important factor in irrigation, and you can estimate runoff also. Water body mapping and monitoring, snow cover area and biophysical properties, LULC, land use and land cover. Water level that I told you, Saral Altica. There are geological features. You can mark the folds and faults. You can mark the rock type. You can have the topography. Topography example I have given you by contours. What you can generate. You can generate a digital elevation model. With the help of that, you can study the whole topography of that area. Now, what remote sensing and GIS can do in WR? Watershed and drainage delineation, measurement and length parameter, geomorphological parameters, contour, DEM and slope estimation, site selection, estimation of capacity and revised capacity of reservoirs, lineament determination, crop yield you can find out, soil moisture estimation you can done, and you can generate a decision support system. With all these inputs, you can have a decision support system in GIS. It is not like that कि rainfall कोई भी अगर clouds अगर आपको sky you're watching clouds in the sky, they would give you a rainfall. There are certain kinds of clouds which give rainfall. For that we have a TRMM satellite. You can write it down, TRMM. This gives the information about the clouds and the how hard it is raining, which area, up to what duration it would be rain in that particular area. This satellite is watching it. Cloud top temperature. This basically depends on the temperature of that particular clouds, whether it would be raining or not. You can see this image is of uh, around 9:30 yesterday in the evening. You can see this Tokte cyclone is hitting India, and this you can monitor if you want. You can see the IMD or INSAT satellite data. You can find out what would be happening in every 1 hour or half an hour. It is updating the cloud coverage of particular region. In India, it is basically INSAT satellite is watching over India. So you can monitor this thing from that particular satellite. This I told you about tropical rainfall measuring mission. Now what we can do snow cover mapping also in our coast glacier regions. What we do, we need to find out the snow melt runoff. Rainfall runoff model you might have heard, but there is also a snow melt runoff model. What we are expecting from here, see, this is an image of May. The size of the glacier is small. In June, it is like, if you can see, glacier is May and June, it is melting and it is getting more snow in October, November, December, and Feb. The whole glacier is turned into a snow. So you can find out what is the amount of snow melt. And again, after February, it has been started decreasing. The size of the snow is decreasing. You can estimate the snow melt. So if you are able to estimate the snow melt, you can estimate the flood in the lower regions. So you might have heard about the term GLOF, glacial lake outburst flood. मीन्स अगर ग्लेशियर में बहुत ज्यादा पानी कभी हो जाता है, मतलब मेल्ट हो जाता है, तो वहां पे फ्लड आ जाता है. तो उसको भी, दैट ऑल्सो यू कैन मॉनिटर विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस remote sensing and GIS. You can see in Feb and in May. Again, it is decreasing, and in the October starts increasing. So this kind of study we can do with the help of this. And now we can use a normalized difference vegetative index. Means you can find out the crop yield. A healthy crop or a healthy tree will give you a different type of reflection, and with the dry field or dry trees. So this kind of study means for finding out the vegetative cover of that particular area and ultimately finding the crop yield with the help of remote sensing data can be done. So if you need to understand what is the crop yield and how much water budgeting you can do, actually you can do what you can do, you can find out the water budget for your irrigation also with the help of this. This is some operation we need to find out in GIS software. These are, if you study remote sensing in the deep, you can understand this is near infrared, this is red, near infrared. These are the band combination which we are using for NDVI. So this kind of projects you can done in your area. So what is the vegetative cover of that particular Maharashtra right now and before 10 years or later 10 years, you can find out. Now, what is normalized difference water index, NDWI? This is also a new term for you, might be, but in this we need to understand. We find out the water pixels. Whatever water pixel we are watching in our satellite data, that will compute, and we can find out water surface body with the help of this. Now land use land cover changes. See, this is a pre-monsoon 2011-2012 LIS4 data. LIS4 is a satellite sensor linear image scanning system. इसका resolution है 5.8 meters का. यहाँ से आप देखिए, दिस इज अ इमेज ऑफ भोपाल लेक, दिस भोपाल अपर लेक. Black color is a water body. This is a pre-monsoon state. If you can see it, this is a pre-monsoon state, and this is a lower lake. This black is all water body in this image, and this red is all vegetation. So by watching it, just by watching it, you can find out the difference. This is a post-monsoon. This is a pre-monsoon image, and this is a post-monsoon. Post-monsoon, this, if you can see, this is this area. Watch this area. Pre-monsoon, the level was this much, up to this much, and in post-monsoon, it has increased up to this much. So, and vegetative cover also over the city, the vegetative cover also be increased. So, this kind of analysis you can done. Change detection you can do. Urban and regional planning. See, if you are planning for any urban and regional planning of an area, what you can do, you can watch this blue grayish tone is it will give you the built up area. Built up area hai ye, and it was in 1973 it was like this, and in 1993 it was like this. Means the forest cover has been reduced and urban land has been increased. So during the span of 20 years, what is happening in the area, this kind of study you can do. So based on this rate of development, you can plan for more 20 years or more than that. uh, this is about urban and regional planning. Now what we are using, these skyscrapers and this developed countries, what they are using this technology, and I would like to see you this small video. I hope this would be very useful for you. This is building information modeling along with the GIS. Now the site requirement for the dam, we have slope, we need to understand the geology of that particular area, catchment area, soil type, land cover, proximity to river, center line, and much more things. We can all access all these type with the help of GIS and remote sensing data. You can do all sort of research prior to start the project. Now what is reservoir sedimentation? Have you heard? जब हम एक रिजर्वायर बनाते हैं तो उसका एक पर्टिकुलर लेवल होता है, उसकी एक कैपेसिटी होती है, बट बाय द टाइम with the sedimentation that capacity would be reduced. So to access this sediment deposition pattern and various zone of storage, we can do a reservoir sedimentation analysis with the help of remote sensing. See, this is a dam and this is a reservoir, and these sediments are being settled here. What is the principle behind to find out the revised capacity is that remote sensing and GIS, that when the sedimentation occurred in a reservoir, its water spread reduced with respect to its original area before impoundment. See, the original waterbed was like this, but due to sedimentation in this particular area, this blue color is our original bed and the reduced bed is riverbed. After sediment deposit, it gets reduced. So this would be the revised surface area, water surface area, which we would get after analysis. So see, what we are doing, we are identifying the water pixels. We have observed data and we have remote sensing data. With the help of observed data, what we can do, we can monitor our capacity of reservoir. We can find out the revised volume because अगर हमने कोई किसी एरिया की वाटर बजटिंग की है और हम उसको 20 मिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर के हिसाब से कर रहे हैं, बट उसका जो रिजर्वायर कैपेसिटी है वो तो रिड्यूस हो चुका है, तो हम उसको क्या कर रहे हैं, हम तो पुराने के जो हमारे पास ऑब्जर्व डेटा है उसके हिसाब से ही काम कर रहे होते हैं. तो दैट इज नॉट बी डन with nowadays. What we are using this technology and we are finding the revised capacity of that particular reservoir to find out, to manage that water in that particular area. See what is happening in November 2005. We have taken a revised area of that particular dam, 4.644 square kilometer. October, it has been increased. In December, now you can see it can be reduced. Why it has reduced here? Can anybody tell me? I'll ask in the question answer session. Why in December this water spread area of that area has been reduced? Be prepared for that. January, see, square kilometer, revised area of the water surface. You can map a flood year. See how much area has been affected or not affected by flood, that you can do. This is a image of Mississippi River. You can find out 1988. This was the area, and after in the flood area, this whole some area is inundated by this flood. So this kind of study you can do, how much area you can has been affected by the flood during this period, during that period. This kind of study you can do that. Query analysis on river. See, if you have to make an emergency action plan, you have to find out what is happening in your area if the flood comes. So we have to find out which city or which village has to be evacuated first during the first hour of flood. So this kind of analysis we can do. We can find out a non-perennial river, means and perennial. Permanent, these red lines you are finding, these streams, these are permanent rivers all over across the India, and these blue lines are non-permanent. So we can find out which area comes under flood inundation first and which would come next. So this kind of query analysis you can do within 10 to 15 minutes. Rather, it would take years to find out that. You can make a buffer zone also, like if you're planning a railway line, you are working on a metro project. So see, metro is a new terminology you can say, or a new project in some of the areas of India. So what is happening, पहले से ही वहाँ अब पहले ये metro wasn't planned, urban planning during the मास्टर प्लान, यू कैन से मास्टर प्लान में मेट्रो प्रोजेक्ट नहीं था पहले, 20 साल पहले. बट अभी उन्होंने क्या किया, मास्टर प्लान में दे हैव इंक्लूडेड अ metro also. So what we can do, we can mark buffer zone, means 1 mile buffer. This black line is a railway line is going or a metro line is going. What you can find, 1 किलोमीटर बफर जोन में कौन कौन सी सिटीज आ रहे हैं, तो आपको कहाँ कहाँ स्टेशन बनाने हैं, कहाँ कहाँ आपको इंक्रोचमेंट हटाना है. 1 किलोमीटर बफर जोन या 2 किलोमीटर बफर जोन के अंदर कौन कौन से सिटी, विलेजेस, एग्रीकल्चर लैंड आ रहे हैं. फॉर दैट यू नीड टू पे द कंपनसेशन ऑल्सो. ये सब आप एक्यूरेटली मार्क कर सकते हैं विद दिस. सी, you can make a buffer of 2 miles, you can make a buffer of 3 miles. So under 3 miles, how many cities are covering? Is this be beneficial for them or not? So these route networking you can do with the help of GIS. Again, this is again by rail line network. You can also do a GIS road network. You can also access, means if you are working for several 500 kilometers or 1000 kilometers road network surveys, you can do with the help of this. You can plan actually, and you can design your road network before going into the field. Planning, designing, again survey. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप सर्वे का डेटा भी इसमें incorporate कर सकते हैं. Yes, you can incorporate survey data at any point. It's not like that you have to start it from scratch. It's not like that. Means all you have done, and you are doing survey, you are using survey data. After you can incorporate and you can produce your maps and statistics out of it. This is a design section. This is how we work. Now GIS for smart cities. अभी ये बहुत ज़्यादा टर्म आ रहा है, अबाउट स्मार्ट सिटी. सिटी कंस्ट्रक्शन वुड बी स्मार्ट. So how it would be smart with the help of GIS? This is the best example I can say. Singapore is moving towards 3D maps for urban planning. Have a limit in their country. And all that, but what is the effect all over the area? They are monitoring that also, this kind of thing. See, if you see this building in this area, the shadow analysis has also been done. This building has got a swimming pool over this, you can see, and after increasing the height of this building, would this swimming pool would be affected? Would this swimming pool would get the sunlight or not? This kind of study, the orientation of this building, this height of the building, the wind vector, the sunlight, the shadow, they are monitoring each and everything with the help of this. So this is called 3D GIS, and this is the need of the hour, and you civil engineering people can also access this kind of thing. Flood inundation mapping, this Odisha flood. During the first week of the flood, you can see this black. देखिए, first day it was like this. यहाँ पूरा flooded था. This whole lot of area is flooded. This black portion up to this much. See, ये कार्टोसेट का डेटा है, हाई रेजोल्यूशन ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट पैनक्रोमेटिक डेटा. यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे ब्लैक ब्लैक जो है ये वाटर पिक्सल्स हैं. तो ये आप यहाँ पे देखिए, नेक्स्ट डे दिस फ्लड हैज बीन रिड्यूस्ड बाय दिस एरिया, ओनली दिस मच एरिया. सी, this is nearby this, but this area has inundated up to second day also. But in the third day what is happening, यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे सिर्फ फ्लड जो है, the inundation is up to this much area and not by this and this. So this would give you the right approach or for managing the disaster. You can manage, means you are getting data in 24 hours. The satellite repeats itself on that particular region. So how far we have reached. See, हरिद्वार स्ट्रेच जो भीमगोडा में जो एक क्लाउड बर्स्ट हुआ था, उसकी वजह से जो फ्लड आया था, वो वी हैव डन इन नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हाइड्रोलॉजी. ये तब का है. This all we have done with the for National Institute of Hydrology. For that we need to have a satellite imagery. That's red color is a satellite imagery, and this is our DEM, digital elevation model. This yellow and orange portion, this if you click on any point in this picture, in this image, you will get an elevation of it. Means it gives you the topography of that particular area. By the combination of this and GIS and some this is what we can do, hydrological model software, we can simulate the flood. This is a flood inundation map. This you can find out blue color is flooded and that's yellow color is non-flooded area. This project we have done for Water Resource Department, MP government, in National Institute of Hydrology. This is a emergency action plan for 9 dams. Flood arrival time. See, at 0 to 1 hour, this much area would be inundated, and this would be the evacuation route. Up to this orange, you can find out 6 to 8 hours it will take to reach and to confine into the stream, and to find out how much area is flooded. You can do emergency plan. You can plan. Actually, the World Bank has released around 1,000 crores for this kind of research work, for passing any new project or any old project. Means मतलब अभी कोई अगर डैम तो उसके लिए आप you have to have this emergency everything before that. You emergency action plan of that soil and dam. If that dams fail, what will happen? So you have to give to the Central Water Commission, then they will pass budget for that. This and ये ओल्ड स्ट्रक्चर्स के लिए भी एप्लीकेबल है. तो अभी हम लोगों ने वी हैव स्टार्टेड अराउंड 50 डैम्स वी हैव कवर्ड राइट नाउ इन एमपी, and we have 800 dams. So you can find out how much work we are having as a civil engineer, as a GIS expert in this field. This is how flood simulates. This is called 3D modeling. If a dam breaks, what happens, what will happen, and the after how much time this flood would mitigate, this kind of things, which area would be inundated first, which has to be evacuated first. ये सारी studies हम what would be the velocity, what would be the depth, what would be the water surface elevation on that particular bridge if the flood occurs. This kind of study you can do with the HECRAS modeling. I would like to show some popular softwares are ArcGIS. Obviously, it is a licensed software and it is very costly. One license would cost around 18 lakhs full-fledged. QGIS is an open source and it is freely available, and lot of thing of GIS or some modeling, some preliminary works you can do, you can learn from this. So I would suggest you to download this. This is an open source. Just type QGIS download in a Google Chrome and you will get the version of it. And if you're not doing any training on that, go for YouTube, learn this. This would be helpful for you. Other softwares are Saga, Grass, Map Window, Ilvis, you might have heard. So next time you take a cup of coffee or tea, think about what it requires. कॉफी का फुटप्रिंट क्या है, तो हमको इतना, हर एक अगर आप सोचें तो हमको कितना पानी मैनेज करना है. What the term has coined a virtual water. We are not drinking water, we are actually eating water, because for agriculture, for any kind of food, water is required. So stop wasting it, start saving it. Please be safe, be at home. So I'm stopping my presentation and I would like to give you my live project which I have done in the National Institute of Hydrology. I'll give you a glimpse of that. And that's all for the presentation. See, this is what I have done. This kind of modeling we have done. यहाँ देखिएगा आप, यहाँ पे लिखा है अराइवल टाइम 9 hours 33 minutes. मीन्स अगर कोई डैम ब्रेक होता है, डैम ब्रेक होने के there are 3 certain causes of dam break. Either it is a piping failure, either it or it may be a large control release, or it might be a overtopping failure. This scenario is for overtopping failure. You can see how much we have predicted after being fulfillment of this reservoir up to 9 hours 33 minutes. It can bear that thing. This kind of modeling we are using. This is called HECRAS. This software is again a freely available software. HECRAS, HECRAS. HECRAS we are using. We are also using Mic 11. This is a licensed software, but it is again a costly software, 17 lakhs around. So you can do like that. Okay, if a dam breaks, up to what level it will go, it will reach downstream, which area would be, this yellow portion is all villages, this would be affected or not, how much this would be affected, what would be velocity. This I think this my cursor is showing, the velocity, the change in velocity. At every point, I can get the change in velocity. Depth, I can have the arrival time. I can have the water surface elevation. There, if you study this model, you can find out there are bridges, there are road networks, there are certain structures which need to evacuate, which need to obstruct during the flood. We have studied all this, and we have prepared an emergency action plan, and that has been approved by Central Water Commission also. And the South American company EGIS has also approved our project. Means they were the third party auditors for us. And see, after this, after 18 hours, it would mitigate and confine to the stream. So this is how we are predicting, we are simulating the dam break. I hope this would be helpful. This would give you insight what we can do with the help of GIS, remote sensing, this 3D models, this ArcGIS Urban, in civil engineering. And so that's all for today. I hope you
Thank
will be delighted.
Thank you, ma'am, for the session. I would request all the participants to post their questions or to ask directly for the question and answer round. If anyone of you have some certain questions that you need to ask to ma'am, you can ask right away. अगर आपके पास क्वेश्चंस है, अगर आपको क्वेश्चंस पूछना है तो आप या तो चैट बॉक्स में लिख के आप उसे पोस्ट कर सकते हैं या आप डायरेक्टली उसे पूछ सकते हैं.
Chat box. Please post your questions, or you can ask. If you want to ask, you can ask.
I would again request, अगर आप लोग के पास कोई questions है, तो please उसे chat box में लिख दीजिए
Please
या
post
you
it in
can.
the chat box, or you can ask directly also. If any of the faculty is having any type of query, you can faculty can. Interested?
I think there are no questions. There are no.
Sonali asked Sanket to
So
conclude
I
the
would.
program.
Okay, ma'am, we would move towards the vote of thanks. I hand over the session to Professor Sanket Padishalwar to please conduct the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sonali ma'am. First of all, I would I am very thankful for on behalf of Civil Engineering Department, Rajiv Gandhi College of Engineering, Research and Technology, Chandrapur, to Dr. Rubina Khan for giving her valuable time and sharing her knowledge with us, ma'am. Really, it was a very good session. A very it was a very informative session for us, and we have learned a lot from this session. Then I would like to thank our management, that is Sardar Patel Memorial Trust, and our principal, Dr. Z.J. Khan sir, for giving us the opportunity to conduct this seminar. I would also like to thank our HOD sir, Dr. A.P. Singh, for his valuable guidance throughout the seminar. I would like to thank all the staff members for their support, and also I would like to thank all the participants for their patience hearing. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, very much thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And all the participants are requested. Uh, and I am going to post the feedback link in the chat box, and those who will give the feedback, they will only get the certificate. So please give the feedback, and then only you must leave the meeting. Thank you very much, ma'am, once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sonali ma'am,
Yes, please. Boliye.
do you have any queries regarding this?
No, that I'll ask you personally.
Okay, okay.
But your session was really informative. Only I like about when how you related it with the day-to-day life that we encounter so many things and we don't really relate upon. So thank you. So we'll just wait for the feedback.